single biggest opportunity to change, to win.
Ford's new CEO, Jim Farley, has had his job cut out for him since he took office in October 2020. But one of his biggest problems isn't making new EVs or making more of them. It's dealing with the dealers who sell them. Realizing that dealers are damaging Ford's reputation, he has declared war on them. And now, dealers are pushing back after being told by Ford's CEO that they must invest $1.2 million to sell Ford EVs at MSRP or leave the system. And today, we are going to talk about what Jim Farley admitted, which could change everything for Ford. However, it's crucial to know one thing regarding dealers in order to grasp the scope of the issue at hand. More than a century has passed since Henry Ford first developed the dealer network. Ford Motor Company was the first automaker to introduce a franchise structure for dealerships in 1908. Ford vehicle dealerships in the United States have thrived thanks in great part to franchise structure that has just been legitimized. And due to these rules, manufacturers cannot undercut retailers by bypassing them and selling directly to consumers. Car dealerships are not required to sell vehicles at the manufacturer's suggested retail price by these rules. Instead, they are free to determine their own prices. However, the world is evolving, and there are now issues to consider. This law does not consider the internet or electric vehicles. Although dealers have been abusing their power, some are fighting back and filing suit against Ford. Even though Ford advertises this package as voluntary, many dealers resist it because of the pressure to meet sales quotas. Dealers who don't sign up for one of the two plans won't be able to sell Ford EVs. Therefore, participation is mandatory. They will be restricted to selling Ford's gas and hybrid models. It follows that when consumers cease purchasing gasoline-powered vehicles, these dealerships will go out of business in the long run. Ford is apparently meeting stiff opposition in the Constitution state, at least according to CD News Junkie and Ford Authority. The dealership group and a state lawmaker have both spoken out against the corporation and suggested they may pursue legal action. Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat from Connecticut, was a vocal critic of the electric vehicle sales ban. He thinks the FTC should look into Ford because it may be breaking franchise agreements. He was confident that this was an instance that required further investigation. He plans to bring this matter to the attention of the state's Attorney General and other relevant agencies. But he also believes the Federal Trade Commission should be interested. According to him, this may also violate its franchise restrictions. New Haven Democrat and co-chair of the House Transportation Committee Roland Lamar presented a statement from Attorney General William Tong. He pushed for this so that individual car lots didn't have to shoulder the cost of establishing a network to support electric vehicles. After being asked for comment on this article, Ford Motor Company has yet to respond. Late in November, at a news conference, numerous officials lauded the automaker's decision to increase sales of electric vehicles, but they disagreed with its decision to put dealers in a tough financial bind. Connecticut Automotive Retailers Association Legislative Co-Chair Jeff Iosa says the present structure of the program would not allow smaller franchise dealers to afford to offer electric vehicles. Iosa warns that the ongoing cost means a dealership of any size may never see a return on investment. The price of $1.2 million is the same whether you're a dealer that sells 100 automobiles each year or 4,000. This is a really challenging program. Heather Somers, a Connecticut senator, has accused Ford of trying to wipe down franchise businesses on purpose. She said she was able to give back to the people of Connecticut by giving them jobs and car repair shops. Somers remarked that the financial commitment demanded of their local merchants was staggering, and the ridiculously short time limit for reading and responding is entirely unreasonable. Many dealers have backed at Ford's electric vehicle certification program because it requires an expensive upfront payment from franchisees. Many retailers have also complained about the system's inflexibility, which necessitated huge payments regardless of the retailer size. It's reasonable to be concerned, given that no small company could possibly come up with $1.2 million in the current economic climate. Even with the $500,000 option, dealers will be limited to selling just 25 EVs each year under the terms of this agreement. In the eyes of the merchants, that's a terrible deal. The $1.2 million arrangement, in which Ford dealers may sell an unlimited number of electric vehicles, is the only viable choice. And so, they think Ford is deliberately frustrating the smaller dealers in order to win them over. Now, before we continue, I'd like to thank you for getting this far, and if you want to know more, then make sure to watch this next part. Ford is receiving criticism from more than just locals of Connecticut. Automotive News says there are protests like this in as many as 3 states. Dealers in Arkansas, Illinois, and New York are also contesting the car maker over these regulations. The action was initially taken by the Arkansas Automobile Dealers Association. In October, they reported Ford to the State Motor Vehicle Commission. Then, in late November of 2022, 27 Illinois dealerships lodged a similar grievance with the state's commission. Several days later, 4 New York dealers sued Ford. Automotive News reports that while a court mulls over the New York complaint, Ford may be forced to pause its dealer certification program. According to the complaint, it is unconstitutional to have dealers pay for certification at one of the higher levels before they may sell electric vehicles. Ford has only claimed that the program complies with all applicable laws in response to these cases. Ford's CEO Jim Farley has announced a new plan to strongly encourage dealers to purchase and promote electrified automobiles. To be competitive with direct-to-consumer businesses like Tesla and Rivian, the company's sales infrastructure must also be upgraded. The certification's set pricing aspect, which eliminates dealer markups, is the most noticeable advantage for buyers. In recent years, dealers haven't done anything to improve the brand's image. And after hearing complaints from consumers charged far more than MSRP, public opinion seems to have hit rock bottom. Ford is unyielding, and the most leeway some dealers have been given is a few more months. However, the standards for certification are staying the same. But amid all of these lawsuits, Ford's CEO made a startling surprise. He announced that 65% of dealerships in the United States have already consented to the company's new investment initiatives to sell electric vehicles. According to Farley, around 1,920 out of Ford's almost 3,000 dealers in the United States have committed to obtaining EV certification and selling Ford EVs at MSRP. According to him, almost 80% of those dealers decided to pay $1.2 million to get completely certified. Big retailers shouldn't waste their money on the starter kit if they're planning to invest. On September 17, the announcement of the new certification program caused an outcry, but now, just 3 months later, most dealers have agreed to eliminate markups, begin selling at MSRP, and pay a $1.2 million fee. That proves 2 things really. Dealers have had a string of successful years, giving them the financial means to spend. They also realize that the future belongs to electric vehicles and that they must adapt or perish. There will still be around a third of Ford's dealer network that won't be able to sell a single completely electric Ford vehicle between January 1, 2024 and at least January 1, 2027. Most likely, the dealers that turned down Tesla's Model E offer are situated in less populated parts of the United States. However, sales of electric vehicles are fewer than needed to make the industry sustainable. They won't feel the pinch this or next year, but that's easy to foresee. In 2025 and 2026, when electrification is considerably more pervasive, they may regret their decision. Ford has no intention of granting buyouts to dealers who choose not to engage in the sale of electric vehicles, as has been done by General Motors for brands like Cadillac and Buick. Freedom of choice is important to us. CEO of Ford's EV division, Marin Gyaya, spoke to CNBC about the company's Model E electric vehicles. And now, what seemed like a fight to the finish line is returning to business as usual. So, What do you think of this new development? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And while you're at it, make sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons as well. Now, if you want to know more about Ford's problems with its dealerships, then make sure to click and watch this video right here. And enjoy! And that's the end of this video, guys. See you next time.